This is Eric Rutan of Cannibal Corpse. You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast with Andrew McKay Smith.
Thanks for listening. I appreciate it. You've tuned into a conversation between myself and Pip O'Brien from the Melbourne-based group Devil Electric. Now, the catalyst for the chat is due to the release of the group's new album for 2021. It's out right now. It's titled Godless. We talk all about the album and a bunch of other topics. If you're a long-time listener to the show, you know me. I tend to go wherever the conversation wants to go to. I just follow that muse. Same if you've just tuned in and you haven't heard me before. Yeah, we go there. And Pip was a good conversation, I've got to say. I enjoyed having this chat very much. Before we get to it, let's have a listen to a tune from Godless. This one is titled All My Friends Move Like the Night, and once it's done, you'll hear us chat. Let's go. Pip, how you going?
Hi, good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good. Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday. I know. Don't remind me.
How rock and roll is this? Yeah, Monday evenings.
I know. Yeah. Oh, well.
Reminds me of those memes. You've seen those memes where it's like when you're in a band, this is what my friends think I do, this is what the audience think I do, and this is what I really do.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. How's things been going for you otherwise, though?
Yeah, good. Just enjoying the album being out, obviously, which is a long time coming. But, yeah, good. I'm moving house, so my life is totally hectic.
Oh, my God. You're the second person today I've spoken to that's moving house. And I think behind dying a terrible death somehow, it's my least favourite thing to look forward to.
Yeah, it's really – I couldn't be more disorganised as well. I keep looking around like there's so much I need to do, and I move Friday, so I'm like, oh, I'm sure it'll come together. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, gotcha. Are you in Sydney or Melbourne?
Melbourne.
Oh, gosh, you guys are just coming out of lockdown at the moment, aren't you, too?
Yeah,
So you can.
Yeah.
You can do all the normal human being things again.
Yeah, it's actually weird. Like, so as of this weekend, we could, was it this weekend or last week? I can't remember now when they've changed rules, but like, yeah, it's back to normal capacity. It's weird. Yeah, because we were in lockdown for so long. Like, it's bizarre just being able to go out and be normal, and even just leaving the house without a mask. Like, it's weird.
Yeah. Never mind what the ABC says. There's no doubt Melbourne was the most locked down city in the world.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, it was crazy. Like, it was months. Like, I can't, if I think about how long it was, like, it doesn't seem like it's been as long as it has, because it's just been this like bizarre time. Like, it's weird. And the curfews, everything, it was weird. It was very weird.
Oh, people who listen to the show know my opinion on it. It was, Dan Andrews is a fucking psychopath, and you guys, what happened to you guys was just inhumane.
I personally, I don't mind. Like, if it's, I've got my mum's like immunocompromised, so I was all good with it. But but it was difficult. It was hard.
Oh, just the vast way. See, I think just quickly, I'll add this point in before we move on and talk about music. No. It should have been flipped around to the perspective that people who were immunocompromised were given all of the support in the world, because we have the infrastructure to do that, and the rest of the population can go about their daily business. And yes, there would have been hospitals full of people with COVID, but we could have coped. We have we have one of the best health systems in the world, public health systems in the world. We could have coped. And that's what a lot of the nurses who are anti-vaxxers are talking about. You know, it's just, and this whole, it's the Trojan horse of now with the vaccine side of things. I'm vaccinated, by the way. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. But I tell you what, I did not like being forced into doing it, and I would have lost my job if I didn't.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Because I got kids. I'm married, got kids and a mortgage, and there's just no way that I could avoid. I couldn't take the chance that I wouldn't have a job, even for a period of time. You know, and a lot of people are in my boat, you know, and I think that's the issue, is that we're being forced into doing something so quickly. And, you know, the other thing, it's not a vaccine, it's a gene therapy. And there's just been so much obfuscation about the whole thing. And the way it's affected musicians too has deeply affected so many of us who are a part of this ecosystem, you know.
Yeah. I have to admit, I don't mind having the vaccine myself. So anyway.
No, it's all good. Listen, we live in a democracy and you're allowed to have an opinion. There you go. Yeah. And if people don't like it, well, excuse my language, fuck them. You know. Well, look, on to the music. Devil Electric and Godless, look, you're doing all of the right things as far as a left of centre rock and extreme, maybe not extreme metal, but a metal fan is concerned on the album Godless. Look, it's a subtly satanic doom rock extravaganza that fans of Cathedral, I love Cathedral, so that's the link that I was able to get into your band.
Yeah.
Sabbath, Sleep, and even Queens of the Stone Age will enjoy. I had a chat to Christos, your guitarist, about 6 months ago or so. Fantastic guy.
Yeah.
I love his other band, the Ugly Kings. Love what you guys are doing here with Devil Electric. And I love that he saved some wicked metallic riffs for Godless. And I think your voice is like the head of Medusa, entrancing yet very, very dangerous. They're my thoughts, Pip. What do you think?
Amazing. Thank you. That was an incredible description. And I like would listen to that back a million times. Thank you very much. I'm loving this album. It was, I think this one's a very much sort of us as a band now. I think the first one was amazing and it was really fun to do and record and write, but I think this one is definitely us more comfortable as like four friends writing together. So I think this one for us was very important because it's obviously our next kind of evolution in sound. We approached it a little bit differently, but it definitely is, you can hear little bits of all of us throughout it. And I think that it's really fun to listen to, I think, you know, and to your point, I've got amazing musicians in the band and I feel really, really lucky to be writing and recording with them. And I think what we produced for our second album is, it's something I'm really proud of. So thank you.
All good, all good. I'm so glad you mentioned that it is a fun album because that's what I thought as well. Like, I love the satanic themes. I'm all about that, believe me. But I love the fact that when I was listening to it, it's got an up vibe. And I noticed because Christos's guitar playing is like that, and your voice just adds this such a rich texture to what his guitar playing brings. And I know I'm not just going to talk about Christos, of course, but because I know there are other musicians there, but because I had a call
about him.
Well, we went right down the rabbit hole in terms of his guitar tone.
Like that,
yeah. We just talked about it for about an hour, I think, just how he developed his guitar tone, because I love what he does on the guitar, you see. So, but I love the fact that it feels like it's a fun album. It's got some bounce to it. It's got some groove to it. It's one of those albums where, you know, as musicians, you are taking what you do seriously, meaning the music seriously, but you're not taking yourself too seriously.
Yeah, and I think that's definitely kind of hit the nail on the head, like in terms of, you know, we're for kind of like, we are very serious about the music and very serious about what we write, but we never want it to be like a laborious, like, you know, and no one does, like everything creative should be fun. And I think we're all kind of jokey together. I think most bands are, but like, you know, we've got a lot of banter and we have a lot of fun with it. And I think what we kind of tried to do with this one is go in and, you know, we had most of our songs written and most of the stuff ready to go, but we left bits of it to happen within the studio. And I think that's made the difference in this one. You can kind of hear sort of bits or like moments that happened only within the studio. They didn't happen before that, and now we've got them on the album. So I think, you know, that was really fun, and it made for like almost like a more exciting experience, because we weren't just going in there to record, we're going in there to sort of finish what we'd started. And I think, you know, part of the joy of listening back to that is remembering all those little bits and pieces that you're like, oh, that's right, that literally happened on the day, or that wasn't there beforehand. So it's been a super fun experience. And I think we've tried to sort of remain true to sort of that Devil Electric sound that we had on that first one, but also experiment with other types of sounds and things and approaches that we haven't probably done before, given we are all so different as people and, you know, from different backgrounds and influences and all different things. So we tried to pull that all in, and I think that sort of shows on this album a bit more than the first, but yeah. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. Now, how important was Julian Schweitzer but you guys being able to realise the vision that you wanted to on this album?
Yeah, he was key, actually. And he is another person who I thoroughly enjoy working with, talking to, everything. He's like incredibly good at obviously what he does. And I think he really did bring out what we wanted to bring out for this album. And part of that was, like, and we sort of call it the lo-fi sound, but it's more of an organic sound, I guess. Yeah. So making sure that, you know, what we sound like in the studio when we're laying down is like what you would experience if you came to a Devil Electric gig. And he was really kind of instrumental in a lot of that process. And particularly for me, it's really rare, I think, to have, you know, a producer, a sound engineer who's also a singer. So it was awesome. Like, I had someone to bounce ideas off, to think about approaches to vocal and stuff like that. So yeah, he was great. He was really fun to work with as well.
That's a good point, actually, just on the vocal front. So with the musicians in the band, is it one of those situations where the music is written or the sketch of a song is written, they present that to you, and then you go and work out vocal patterns and arrangements and even lyrics and that sort of thing, and then you sort of have a rough idea, 80 to 90% when you went into the studio, or however you worked with Julian and he helped you refine it?
Yeah, so it's a funny the way we write. So we rehearse normally, if we're not in lockdowns, we rehearse every week, and the boys will normally start to work up, you know, songs and stuff, and I'll probably sit there and just bark ideas at them, which are always
that works.
They do all. I'm not, in no way do I write the music. That's not me claiming any of the music writing. That's me saying, oh my God, that sounds really good. Keep doing that.
Nice.
So we kind of have this like really diplomatic way of writing, and I'll sort of sit there and I'll normally stand by the mic and come up with melodies kind of at the time, or trying to hear if I can hear anything that's happening, and then I'll probably go away and write lyrics. Sometimes I have, you know, ideas of songs sketched out, and I can start to put that into songs as they come about. Other ones I just write without any, you know, I'll just take it home and listen to it and write it. But Yeah, so most of it, like lyrically and things like that, that was all pretty much done. The music was done. It was more his kind of take on, vocal approach, or if I wasn't sure about, a certain part of the melody. And I think some of the songs that we recorded in this session, there was a different approach sometimes with, than what I had on the first album with this album. So he was really helpful in sort of ironing those out and either saying to me like that is not working or being really, keep doing that. That sounds really good. And it's, and it works because you do have that. I know I'm like super neurotic and and I always have elements of doubt throughout things. So it's nice to have that sounding board there with someone who's not just sort of sitting back and recording, but actually saying, no, that sounds great, keep going with that. So, yeah, it was good.
What drew you to heavy music?
Oh, I don't know. And it's so, I think I've always, I think I do. I can nail it down. I have an older cousin, and when I was a kid, he was obsessed with like hair metal, and so he taught me how to like headbang and stuff back, I don't know, when I was like 4 or 5 or something like that. And I think it just spiraled from there. But I've always been partial to it. But yeah, but then I love many genres and many things. Like my dad's a folk country musician, so I grew up also listening to a lot of folk country music as well. Yeah.
What does he think about you playing heavy rock instead of pop or folk or country?
He loves it. I think his ultimate dream was for me and my sister to be a country duo. But when that didn't happen, no, he's just happy I'm playing music. He comes down to the shows and loves it. Even though he suffers from tinnitus, he'll stand straight up front.
Oh, really? Yeah. Is that from being a musician? He suffers from that?
Yeah, he got that. He also had a recording studio in Carlton. So he he thinks it's more from probably some from playing live.
Headphones, having the headphones on all the time. Yeah. I worry about that.
Yeah. It's he's fine with it. Like, I mean, it's so funny. He always says to me, it's like, I live in another space anyway, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
Nice. That's nice. Yeah. So what about your lyrical themes and your ideas for lyrics?
So lyrics I think I always try and relate them back to personal experience. I'm someone who's like, I don't know, Mum said I was born like all sensory and emotion. So I tend to like internalize and think about a lot of things all of the time. And so a lot of the lyrics are sort of bedded in, my experiences or feelings about things, but all cloaked in analogy, I guess. So I try and, it's weird. And I don't know where a song is coming from until I start writing it. There's not always an idea or anything. It's just kind of a feeling at the time. And actually the song I Will Be Forgotten, that was written on the day that we recorded it. Like I scrapped the lyrics that I had and totally changed the approach and rewrote that in the studio just because of some stuff that I'd read and sort of stuff that was happening around that time. So I think, the lyrics are always one part me and other parts sort of like analogies, if that makes sense. And
sure.
Trying to story tell through, different bits and pieces. And I think the biggest influence on this one was there's this bookshelf in my room, which is now moving, but it's part of my house move. But yeah, so it's got all of these amazing books and stuff and amazing authors on it. And I kind of used a lot of the titles from those books as like themes or ideas or, things like that. So it's almost like this bookshelf played as much of a part of the album as my personal experience did in terms of the lyrics and the themes. Yeah.
That's really interesting. So I'm a big believer in the law of attraction and Esther Hicks's stuff, this stuff about manifestation, if you like, and that whole idea that the path is before you. You just have to realise it's there. Now, in your case, it was as simple. It might not have been that simple, but this bookshelf is right there and it had all of these wonderful ideas for you to take as a cue for your lyric writing. Yeah. Just there for you.
Yeah. That's actually a nice way of putting it. It was almost like, it was interesting too because like I didn't consciously kind of set out to be like, oh, I should make this like all tied to these, you know, amazing authors or novels or anything like that. It was just like by happenstance that I write lyrics on my couch, and I was staring at this bookshelf the whole time when I'm trying to think of something to write about to take into rehearsal the next day. And yeah, it's like sort of kind of how it came about. But yeah, no, I like that.
What about the album art? Is that something that you had a lot of say in?
Well, that's so Tom and Beak in the band as well, like outside of being incredible musicians, they're both graphic designers. So we actually went through a series of like, I don't know how many arguments we had. We went through like 4 different covers like to try and figure out the album. And that one was the last cover that that Tom put together, and that's the one that made it. But yeah, he's the one behind that cover. So he literally shot that himself and laid it all out and everything like that. So that's all Tom.
Nice, yeah. See, I'm a huge fan of B-grade horror.
Yeah.
And B-grade, like, you know, the sort of horror adventure sort of things from the 70s and 80s in particular. And it gave me those vibes, those creepy vibes in a good way. Like, yeah. Like, have you seen the film, not Mandy, what's it called? Beyond the Black Rainbow?
No.
Oh, do check it out. Yeah. It looks like an image that had come out of that. That's only a recent film. A Greek director, I can't remember his name now. Sorry, gosh, shocker. Ooh. But Beyond the Black Rainbow, can't recommend that film enough from the perspective of its aesthetic and its visuals. The story isn't that dominant. It's more about this journey that it takes you on through visuals. Yeah. And some of it reminds me a lot of your album cover there.
Yeah.
You know, very dark, but, you know, very dark, very subversive, you know, but sort of from the realm of fantasy at the same time too. So it's not too self-conscious.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have to check it out. But that's essentially kind of like what we spoke about in the lead up to this album, and sort of the ideas. And obviously it changed a little bit with film clip ideas and stuff like that, because we went into lockdowns. But like that was the whole sort of vibe of what we're going for. And what we tried to pull together for Take the Edge Off is like sort of, that's part of that old sort of horror idea. So all set in the house and kind of hectic and creepy and nice. Nice. Now, COVID, from the perspective of this album, was this an album that was written prior to COVID, through COVID, or prior to? Prior to, so we recorded it before going into COVID. We actually had a whole release strategy ready to go. So we'd recorded it before COVID hit, and then we released the first single, All My Friends Move Like the Night, in March last year. Then the second and third single and stuff was supposed to come out, and we were meant to release it all by May last year. So we're a year behind, or more than a year behind where we were supposed to be. So it's just been a matter of waiting. And obviously, because we part of the release is the physical sales and things like that, we had to wait for the pressing plants overseas to be ready, vinyl pressed and things like that. So there was a bit of
I think we can all blame Adele for the global vinyl shortage, isn't that right?
I have read that. I have read that. Yeah.
I couldn't believe that her fans were vinyl collectors.
Yeah, I guess so. Like, it's pretty incredible.
I can tell you, I play covers, you know, and I've played 2 or 3 of her songs, so I know the Rolling in the Deep song and maybe 1 or 2 of the other ones, and they don't get that bigger pop on the dance floor. I've got to be honest with you, not like what Kylie's stuff does, Kylie Minogue stuff does, and ABBA. You know, like it's really weird her success. It's like, hey, don't begrudge her success at all, but it's like, where are all these fucking fans hiding? Because I don't know any of them. Who's buying this shit? Why aren't you buying Devil Electric stuff?
Yeah, exactly. That would be amazing.
It's so weird. Some of these artists, they get so big and you're like, does anybody know anybody that's bought this individual's album? And everyone's like, no. And it's like, must be the circles I move in. Then I ask people at work who aren't even musical fans at all, and they buy whatever is in the top 10 or the equivalent of their Spotify playlist, or listen to whatever's in their top. And it's like, are you listening to Adele? Oh, I used to. So you're not anymore? No. So who's buying 500,000 units of vinyl globally then?
Someone must be.
It's so weird. Yeah. Actually, it's caused havoc. That I don't know whether just Adele, by the way, but this global vinyl shortage has caused havoc for a lot of bands this Christmas.
Yeah. Well, we're still we just had to send out a note to everyone who's bought the album because we haven't even, it hasn't arrived in Australia yet. We've been waiting for it for ages. And Pora's post, I know they're like under the pump, but we're still trying to get it in to the country so we can send out the orders for everyone who's ordered it. So,
how many units of vinyl did you end up ordering? If you can't share it, don't worry about it. But I'm just curious.
I actually have no idea. So I don't. So we've got obviously through because we're released this through Cosmic Artifacts in Germany. So they figure out the allocation as part of our deal. Christos and Beak normally then go in and figure that stuff out. So I actually shockingly have no idea.
That's all good. All that stuff's incidental anyway. It's just one of those things that either the business manager or whoever the business manager in the band might be organising it. But it's I distinctly remember a time. I'm 43, okay, so I remember when you couldn't give away heavy metal albums. So I'd frequently go into the city and buy them for $3 a hit per CD or whatever, Creator, Annihilator, that's how I bought all of those albums back in the day. Yeah. And just the way this music is, rock and metal in specifically, have come back through vinyl. It's I know so many people now that collect vinyl, and it's like, well, they don't even listen to it. They're just collecting the vinyl to have it. See, I'm somebody, if I don't listen to it, I'll give it to a mate of mine who does collect. Because I'm not a hoarder. I can't hold on to just this thing that I've got where I can't hold on to things that I don't listen to. So consequently, my vinyl collection's only about 30 albums deep, but they're albums that we always listen to.
I get it.
Is that like you too? Are you a bit of a collector, or are you a bit like me? And that
I do collect a bit of vinyl. Like I have since I was like, I think like 16 or something. I remember there was like a vinyl shop down near my house, so I used to go and buy stuff from there. But I normally, I don't know, I haven't, well, like I still subscribe to Third Man Records. I don't know why. Like they just send out the same live White Stripes recording every quarter, which is I don't know anyone who wants that. But anyway, but no, I try and buy as much vinyl as I can, when I can, particularly if I go to gigs and stuff. Like I love getting it on the spot. So yeah.
Was a cassette released with Godless?
So not with Godless. So we did have one with the first album, but we haven't released a cassette with Godless, although there's still time, maybe.
Yeah. Those short run cassettes, like when you release like 50 of them, that's perfect because I do buy them then because I don't know whether you can see it. I've got a cassette player behind me over here. Oh, actually, where is it? Let me see if I can twist that around. Can you sort of see the edge of it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I got a cassette player because sometimes because I'm a writer as well, I'll just put on the cassettes in the background because I don't want to even think about changing the song, which I'm too tempted to do with iTunes or Spotify. So I just sort of I get a lot of underground stuff like from Nocturnus AD and Sentient Ruin. The label Sentient Ruin do a lot of cassettes, and I love their weird stuff. Yeah, that's where I get their weird stuff from. But it's it's to each their own, I suppose, isn't it?
I like the cassette. It was it actually sold well for us on Bandcamp. Like we did them because we were touring Indonesia, but then we had all these leftovers, so we got put them up on Bandcamp and they sold really quickly. So
touring Indonesia, and there was a market there for cassettes specifically, was there, or was it just something special you did?
No, I think when we were setting it all up, the advice that we got was to do cassettes as well, so we did that. It was good.
Shit. There you go. Indonesia's a huge country for rock and metal.
Yeah. They love it. Incredible.
Their president, whose name escapes me, but their president was photographed during the election campaign in a Napalm Death T-shirt. Amazing. I mean, seriously, that's how rock and metal that country is.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like the bands over there are incredible as well. It really is I was saying when I was over there, there should be more tours back and forth because it's awesome and they're awesome. Every band we play with was incredible. So no.
Yeah. I don't know why there isn't more vis-a-vis touring between Southeast Asian nations and Australia, meaning the bands, because it just makes so much sense. It's the closest near continental landmass to us.
Yeah, exactly.
The Asian continent and of Southeast Asia, and it's literally 7 or 8 hours away.
Yeah.
Which is
really
bugger all in a global sense.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Did you find that was that tour? How long ago was that tour booked?
That was 2017. So that was with the first album release. We did a tour of Indonesia. I think we did about a 3-month sort of broken up tour in Australia where we went around to different countries and cities and things, and then not countries, sorry, different cities and country towns and stuff, and then headed to Indonesia towards the end of 2017.
Did you find that you built an audience and you've retained the audience since over there?
Yeah. Oh my gosh, the fans are incredible over there. Like some of the best people, but also just like that. Yeah, they are all loyal. They're all amazing. They've stayed sort of loyal to the band this whole time, and I'm like, that's the one thing we always talk about. We're like, we should go back there. It was actually an incredible experience. Yeah.
Yeah, try and get to the Philippines as well if you can.
Yeah.
We the wife's family are Filipino, and we'd be pre-COVID. We went over there a bunch, and I didn't meet any musicians when I was over there, but I just started connecting with Filipino black metal musicians through what I'm doing here with my podcast, and their stuff is high quality, man. It's good stuff too.
Yeah. No, it was incredible. Like I was floored by how good the music was over there. It was incredible.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Now, is there anything else that you feel as though we need to cover? Is there any question I haven't asked that you'd like to address about the album, the band, anything?
No, I was going to say that I think that's pretty good. And I do have to jump off at 8:30 is the only thing.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I think that's everything. I can't think of anything that we haven't covered.
So Godless, it's out now. It's out now. Order the vinyl. It'll take some time to get out here because of bloody Adele. But but order the vinyl and support you guys, because I think with bands like you guys, the important thing is to support you through physical, whether it be CD, vinyl, T-shirt, cup, beer holder things, however, whatever it might be. Support Devil Electric. Great band.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. That was my conversation with Pip from Devil Electric. Their new album is titled Godless. Check it out on streaming services. And as I just mentioned toward the end of the chat there, support the band by buying their shit. There you go. So my name's Andrew Mackay-Smith, and I'm the scar of the Scars and Guitars podcast. I'm the host of the Scars and Guitars podcast. Thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. Always do, I've got to say. If you want to listen to chats that are very similar to that one, go across to, or more chats that are similar to that one, go across to scarsandguitars.com, where many more are to be found. And also I've got a channel on YouTube, lots of Cradle of Filth stuff, Suffocation. If you like heavy metal, extreme metal, chances are you'll like what it is that I do. Again, thanks for tuning in, and until next time, it is a very goodbye for now.